Madison Keys, one of the many Americans we are about to talk about here on Tennis Channel Live, and ranked 16 right now in the world. Only played 5 events last year. We had her on TC Live. Seems like she's had a great offseason, is rearing to go for Australia, just got her flight booked to Melbourne. She's been playing for more than a decade, Lindsay, but she's only 25. She's like literally only 25. What would make this year a success for her, in your opinion?
You know, for the last few years, the focus for Madison has been more consistent results. Yes, she has that one great tournament, maybe 2 or 3 a year, but she really wanted to be able to play at a certain level week in and week out. She wanted to bring up her bottom level game to still be able to win matches. Hasn't been able to do that. And so this offseason it was a big one, and we'll see how well that pays off in the coming years. She started working with Alex Kuznetsov. She was telling me a lot of the practices, they've been watching a lot of video and then going to the practice court with a purpose. Okay, we want to get rid of those kinds of shots. We want to learn how to get out of the corners with these types of shots. So there's been a lot of purpose in her practice, and she's very happy with her team. She still has Rodney Marshall there doing the fitness, but she wants to be a factor at the majors, and she wants to be a factor at every major and not have those kind of random first round, second round, bad match, and you're out.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting. I've loved watching Madison play through the years. You know, her top-level game is so impressive, and I think Lindsay really summed it up perfectly. In majors in particular, and for most of the year, it's kind of how good are you on your average days. And on her average days, she has some of those days where the ball flies on her. There's not a lot of margin. I think it's where she struggles. I want to ask you, Lindsay, you hit the ball very flat. You had big ground strokes hit through the court on big moments. What would you tell her so that she doesn't have those big misses on big moments?
Yeah, and you know, it was always given to me as big targets, right? And it was super simple. Okay, go cross court until the ball's above the net and you're on your front foot, then try and risk changing direction. Madison loves to change direction a little too much, in my opinion, in the couple years I was with her. And it was getting her not to try and get out of rallies. She is so fast and athletic, but she doesn't believe that she can make 20 shots a rally if she needs to. And I think that's been a real focus for her, is to try and get that confidence in her shots, in her swings, in her contact point to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's really interesting because the way she hits the ball, sure, it's a little bit flat, but she should be able to play all day because she has great strokes, great stroke production. Like Lindsay said, simple themes: cross court until you're inside the court and the ball's high, then do what you want.
Patiently aggressive, right, Paul?
Just like I tell you to do in your game.
It's been a strange year last year, and Madison does so many different things. Obviously, her Kindness Wins Foundation was just honored with a Musial Award, so that's fantastic. She's gotten into decorating her house, doing some cooking. Do you think that time off has been something that will benefit her this year?
I hope so, and certainly it would for the injuries, because she's had a lot of them, and it's been a challenge to keep her body healthy. But I got to tell you, she is a homebody at heart. So I'm concerned, being her friend, that she just wants to be at home. But no, she has the drive that she wants to be factors in majors. She wants to try and hold that trophy at the end of them. So she's been working really hard for that. But she loves her life in Orlando. She loves her house. She's in a great place in her life. Hopefully that translates to good results also.
Speaking of loving the sport, I mean, Venus Williams, 40 years of age, still going at it. I mean, we said Madison's been on tour for over a decade. Venus Williams is going on a quarter century right now, Paul, and still playing some great tennis. Got to the finals in Australia a few years ago. What do you expect to see from Queen V this year?
I'll tell you what, it's so difficult to even guess now, but when you see 40 years of age, the keys really for Venus are how healthy can she stay, and how does she schedule herself so she gets enough tennis where she's comfortable at the biggest moments. We saw some terrific tennis last year from her as well, right before, a couple weeks before, not since, incredibly cleanly. The thing is, can she do it over 2 weeks, 7 matches now? That I don't know. But like I always say, you want to question greatness at your own peril. And when you're that good, she didn't win 7 majors just by being lucky. She knows what she needs to do, but can she do it over 2 weeks?
You know, it's interesting. We were talking about Rafa. Okay, he's only won the Australian Open once. It has always surprised me that Venus has not been able to win there. And especially earlier in her career, in the late 90s and the early 2000 years, she was dominating on hard courts, just didn't quite get over the hump there. She made 2 finals 14 years apart in 03 and in 17. But she's never consistently, if you look at her results there, she's never brought out the best in her year in and year out. And some players, they like a hard court, they're going to play well there. If you're Venus, I think you're right, Paul. You look back just a few years ago to 2017, a couple of Grand Slam finals, another semi. She was a huge factor. She almost lifted her 8th Grand Slam trophy. It's got to get harder when you're 40. Last year, 7 tournaments, won 1 match. So going to be looking to turn that around this season. I want to know, is she going to be in Adelaide or Melbourne? Right? We got all these
With
things
Serena,
to figure
right?
out.
I mean, I'm curious because this is an Olympic year. Multiple gold medal winner at the Olympics, Venus Williams. What kind of impact does that have on her playing this year? I mean, we've seen a lot of these from Roger. He's focused on Tokyo. I think with Venus as well, wants to make another run at the Olympics.
I think that's the goal, right, to get there. I don't know how it's possible with rankings and special exemptions and whatever. We've argued about it before, not you and me, just in general. Can she get into the Olympics? There's a lot of good American players. I hope she gets a chance to play there, and she deserves it. She's been so supportive of the Olympics. She's done so well. I would think that has been a major source of motivation for her.
Yeah, I always feel like the great players have earned to prioritize what they want to. You know, if it's the Olympics for her, so be it. If it's Wimbledon, so be it. And like Lindsay said, if it's the Olympics, let's hope we see her there.
Moving on to one of the young Americans, Amanda Anisimova, ranked 30 in the world, made the semifinals in Auckland, not past the 4th round after that. Just confirmed on Instagram that she is COVID positive right now. So we'll see how that affects her entry into the Australian Open and getting to Melbourne. Still a little ways away, can quarantine for the 14 days. But what kind of impact can she have this year on the court?
Yeah, hopefully a big impact. I mean, gosh, she's gone through a lot. She's still so young. Losing her father in the summer of 2019, that was obviously incredibly hard for her to handle, and it's been a roller coaster ever since. She's back working full-time with Nick Saviano. That's going to help her a lot. Nick was a huge factor in her developmental years, and I think for Amanda to go back to someone who knows her, who's familiar with her, knows how to push her, that is really going to help her. Nick's a fantastic coach. Obviously, some concern. She's got to test negative before she can get on that plane, so that's about 6 days away. She was in Abu Dhabi, supposed to be in the draw, had to pull out at the last minute when she tested positive. So first of all, our wishes are that she is feeling okay. I hope that she's not affected too badly. Hopefully she tests negative and we'll see her in Australia, but she's so good. She's so naturally good. I think things are gonna come together for her. I think some off-court issues kind of slowed that progress, but I think when and if she's healthy, she's going to hit the road running this year.
Yeah, her game's amazing. I mean, it's just a matter of time for her. And I think the issue is when can she get out there and how quickly. And maybe we need to call Craig again. I mean,
Exactly.
Because wait, the flights are leaving. Don't you have to have 10 days free of COVID before you can go there, or?
I thought it was a negative test. I
That's
don't know.
it? It's only negative test. It can be 3 days before.
Is it on speed dial? Can we just snap our fingers and get
all
Craig
the stuff
up there?
I've gotten from the ATP now, I have like a pile of like this stuff of all the different, so I wonder where the latest things is. But most importantly, let's hope she's healthy and not too adversely affected, first of all. Second of all, let's hope she tests positive in a few days and then
Negative.
I'm sorry, negative.
Yeah.
Hope she's very positive mentally and tests negative.
No, I mean, that's why a lot of like folks like Andy Murray pulled out of Delray Beach. They were worried about getting to Australia. So we'll see. But our thoughts right now with Amanda, that negative test comes through for her.